Hello folks, Taffyta Muttonfudge here, telling you about cosplay. For those of you who don't know, Taffyta Muttonfudge is one of the Sugar Rush racers from the movie Wreck-It Ralph. Now in the beginning she's not a very nice person. She's kind of like Regina in the Mean Girls, and always picking on the Glitch or Vanellope von Schweetz. But towards the end she sees the error of her ways and her heart grew 3 sizes that day. Aww. I'm going to be talking to you about every single piece that I'm wearing, how much it costs, and what I did to have to alter it to fit this little ensemble. Let's get rolling. Let's go ahead and start with the easiest part, those shoes. These are just some all-star shoes that I found at Plato's Closet. I was lucky enough that at the time that I went, there were 3 pink pair in my size, so I had some options. Another easy thing to put together were the tights. I actually bought these ones on Etsy. They weren't too expensive. This last spring at PlanetCon, I wore leggings that I had dyed myself, but the effect didn't come out the way I had wanted. I kind of ended up with more of a peppermint tie-dye than taffeta candy stripes. The jacket also came from Plato's Closet. It was just a pink windbreaker that I had found and bought some white ribbon. And rather than taking it all apart with the lining and everything else, I just decided to go ahead and cut the ribbon to the length that I needed and glued it onto the sides. For the collar of my jacket, I actually went to a fabric store and found kind of this mint colored duck material, which I put on the inside and the outside of the collar. The dress was the 3rd item that I bought at Plato's Closet. Now the dress itself is very, very glittery and it tends to shed, but that's okay. It's better than wearing sequins. I have some horrible nightmares from tap dance as a child from sequins. Now the ribbon on the bottom I had some trouble with. When I went to Kansas City Comic-Con, I actually took a shiny ribbon and pleated it and folded it and sewed it on, and it just didn't work very well. What I did with the ribbon that ended up on my dress was actually to take some scrap white cotton that I had, cut it out into 2 layers, the shape that I needed, sewed it along both sides, and then strung it through itself down the middle. I actually just made the gloves the other day. I went to Party America and they had little white gloves, little kind of sports type gloves. I love the lines along the back of them. And they had a little button clasp and weren't as long as I needed. So I cut the remainder of my scrap Kona cotton and just made longer sleeves for them. And it really wasn't too difficult to do. The wig I got on Amazon, and it was a bit longer and it had really, really long bangs, like it had kind of this soft framing of the face thing. So I just chopped it all off. For those of you who are on Facebook, you saw one of my posts with the wig. I felt like I should be dancing to Elastic Heart. That'd been okay, because I like Shia LaBeouf. And now to my favorite part, the helmet. This helmet was actually made out of a souvenir nacho bowl, which I got at a Royals baseball game. So after it was all cleaned up and I got it home, I decided to sand this baby down. I decided to sand both the inside and the outside, as well as the edge, because a lot of times these are made in a mold and there can be rough pieces around the edge and we don't want that. Once everything was sanded, I gave this baby 2 coats of Rust-Oleum flat white spray paint, both inside and out. Once the white was dry, I taped off the bill using masking tape and saran wrap. Then I used Krylon's watermelon gloss to go over both the inside and the outside of the body of the helmet with 2 coats. I used a small angled brush and acrylic paint and used red with a little bit of gray to create the strawberry seeds going around the helmet. For the bill, I decided to use the Krylon Jade Satin paint. To give the helmet that candy sparkle, I used silver glitter glue and painted it on with a large brush. Now while I used the pink and the mint on the inside and the outside of the helmet, I was not putting glitter on the inside of this helmet. No one wants glitter in their hair. It's the herpes of the arts and crafts world. Once you get it, you can never get rid of it. For the last step of painting the helmet, I used Krylon Max Clear Coat to make sure that that glitter wouldn't go anywhere. After the clear was dry, I was done with the painting of my helmet. When I went out to buy my paint, I also went to the Michael's Craft Store, where I found foam paper that was pretty close to the same color as the bill. The foam sheet was only 89 cents and it worked perfectly for the leaves and the stem of my helmet. Once I cut them out, I just used a basic super glue to adhere them to the top of the helmet. After that, I used my acrylic paints once again to create a darker jade for the veins on the leaves and the lines on the stem. And that's it, folks. That's how you create Taffyta Muttonfudge. If you're creating taffeta or another Sugar Rush racer and have more specific questions about any of the pieces I've made, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Remember, you can always find me on Twitter at Tinasaurus_KC. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I'll be posting more videos about cosplay, Comic-Con, And I'll also be doing reviews of movies, TV shows, and games. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the flip-flop later.